was back in secondary school when I actually had a proper camera to actually experiment with. That was a gift from my dad, and initially the intention was really just to record, to film myself performing magic tricks. But as I learned more and more tutorials from YouTube, that's when I got really intrigued with the camera itself, and that's how I got into photography bit by bit. So what's so cool about photography? It's a really powerful universal language that almost anybody can understand, at least visually. So for me, I like to do things a little differently, and I like to experiment with as many things as possible. It could be the way I photograph, it could be what I photograph, it can be where I photograph. So one of my favorite and recent projects is actually the Biophilia project, and I always believe that nature, like, they don't even depend on human for its survival, whereas us people, we depend on it for resources, for recreational purpose, and life in general. And that's the importance of nature. And another thing that I find it relevant, the project relevant to Singapore, is how we are well known of being a city in a garden. So I think this was a project worth doing. I decided to visit a lot of different places like botanical gardens, nature reserves, and other places where nature really strikes in Singapore. So, but I noticed one thing, and that was that the color green got a little too boring in Singapore. Right, near neighborhoods, near almost anywhere really. The grass, the plants, it's all green, right? Okay. So then I decided, okay, how about changing the color of plants, but yet maintaining the connection between people and men. Right? So when I took those photographs, of course I go to those kind of places to find what people do. So, of course, as expected, you will see couples spending time together, families bring their kids, and some people that does like photography of nature in general. And you'll notice that most of the pictures have the subjects, people, the main subjects, smaller than the background itself, and it's done intentionally to really emphasize how people are kind of insignificant when it comes to nature. Like, they don't really need us. While on the other hand, like, nature is really big and it's powerful in its own way. As much as I like to photograph people, there are times where I need my own space and time, because as an introvert, I lose energy easily, especially with large crowds. Okay, and that's when I thought, okay, how about me visiting places which are usually crowded during the day at odd timings, like 3-4 a.m. Okay, so I went to MBS area, city area, basically places where it's really crowded, whether with tourists or locals, doesn't matter. And yes, I noticed that it felt really different. First, you'll notice the contrast, especially in such a busy country with lots of people, and like, we're really fast paced. Like, People are really fast-paced here, um, and they appreciate less, always wanting something new, and that's when we notice that's when I noticed that, okay, I think we're appreciating less and less stuff. And so I went to these places and look at the architecture, the lighting, the shadow, and it's just incredible. It looks like these places are kind of resting and waiting for the next day to serve what it needs to do. Like, it really has a personality to these different places. It looks like giant creatures sleeping, and when it comes to daytime, they're ready to be used again, ready to wake up, ready to be filled with energy. So I focus a lot on composition, the lighting, the lines, and whatnot. So it's quite a lot on aesthetics, but also that strong contrast. It's called Lonely Spaces. Okay. And last but not least, one of the greatest reasons why I'm so crazy about photography is about sharing people's stories. And perhaps that's the reason why I love documentary photography the most, or like photojournalism or portraits. It's just anything to do with people, seriously. I'll just really go for it. And um, I had this idea of visiting and learning more about a patient with cancer. And that's when photography comes in again. You undo your assumptions. Um, you really correct a lot of misconceptions or whatever initial thoughts you have, because you get that first-hand experience, the first-hand witness is just there right in front of you. And the only thing that's really separating you between that event and yourself is the camera, the thing that captures the moment. So I began sending out mass messages to classmates, friends, families, hoping to find someone who is willing to participate in this project. And strange enough, I got a request from Facebook, and it was a total stranger, and he was really open to this project. And it's incredible because I got to see his family. I got to learn a lot about how he perseveres so much and how he keeps this positive mindset to really fight this tough battle. And also, more importantly, we also learn how that people are not weak. Actually, a lot of us are really strong internally, and when it comes to determination. So we can see a lot in Daryl. I got to visit his family. I got to spend time. Really, it's as if, I'm just there, and his family and stuff are all going normally, and I'm just a witness, capturing the moments, telling his story, and how he's still fighting cancer till today. So, to kind of sum it up, I guess you now understand why photography is such a powerful tool, and it's really limited by one's imagination. And if you ask me what's the hardest thing in photography, I would say putting the camera down is probably one of the hardest things to do. Once you get a picture, it's really tempting to keep taking and taking and taking. Just never stopping, never stop sharing stuff. Alright, so with that, I hope you have learned something new, and try something different in photography.